Hey, what's up YouTube? Today I'd like to go over a basic field strip of the CZ97B 45 caliber pistol. Don't really see or haven't seen too many videos out there on how to field strip the weapon, so this will be my first tutorial on how to, not just this weapon but any weapon, so go easy on me out there in comment world. If there's anything maybe I can do to improve upon any future videos, let me know. But again, go easy on me out there. I'm not really going to talk about how to clean the weapon once it's field stripped. There's plenty of videos out there on how to do some basic gun cleaning, so you should be able to follow a couple of videos and then refer to your manual on what to use on the weapon and so forth and so on. And again, if there is a field strip video out there on the 97B, then we'll just add this one to the collection. So I will say, kind of before starting, the only thing I can say about the gun without really giving a unbiased review is I've read that people were kind of on the fence that couldn't go to their gun store and hold the weapon, and thinking that they had a small hand and the handle was too fat. I will say that I am 5'9" and 165, and my hand here, if I put it in front of the camera, I don't know how well you're going to see it. It's not a very big hand, but you'll see as I pick up the weapon, I've had no issues with comfort, whether it be firing the weapon or holding the weapon. So if you are on the fence and can't get your, no pun intended, hands on one, I would think that you should be okay. But again, before spending any amount of money, you really want to try and get your mitts on it and see if it works for you. So with that said, let's get started, and I'm going to go ahead and take the weapon out of the box here and just go over kind of the three basic things, which is the slide release, which is here, the safety, which is here, I'm sorry, the magazine release, which is here, the safety here, and then the actual slide stop is here. So let's go ahead and eject the magazine. And let's go ahead and rack it and engage the slide stop. And as you can see, if I tilt the weapon this way, you can see there's nothing ammunition wise in the gun. Incidentally, right here is a little silver tab or spring, and that's actually an ammunition indicator. Right now it's flush or flat, and I know it might be a little bit difficult to see, but you can see, or as you can't see it, with it flat, that's an indication that there's nothing chambered or there's no magazine with a round in the gun. If I had it racked with ammunition in there, it would actually pop up a little bit. Now, I will say it's not a game changer. I barely even notice it. You always want to treat basic gun safety, that the weapon is always loaded, and go through the steps that we just went through to indicate that there's nothing to hurt you. So again, a nice feature, but nothing overly fantastic to write home about as far as a showstopper. So what I'm going to do here is tilt the gun upside down, and the reason I'm doing that is to show this portion, this little ball or pin, which is part of the slide stop. This is actually what you're going to apply pressure to pop that slide stop out on the opposite end, and that is what's going to allow the slide stop to disengage so you can release the top part of the weapon off of the frame or off of the body. So it might be a little difficult to see, and I'll try and shine some light on here a little bit, but as we take the slide stop off, right in the corner here, there's two markings on the top half and the lower half of the gun, and that's what you have to line up first in order to pop this slide out. Let me see if I can get in a little bit closer here, and hopefully you can see those two tabs that or those two nicks that I'm referring to. Let me set the camera back down. So what I'm going to do is release the slide, and I'm going to decock the gun. Now, I've looked in the manual, and I don't know what they're calling this thing, and again, I'm a novice, so don't beat me up too bad, but this is what I actually use to apply pressure on the back pin here. And I'll try and keep it in camera frame and use one hand to pop this off and one hand to hold the tab excuse me, line the tabs back up to pop this out before we can get into kind of the guts of the weapon. So you go ahead, and what I usually do is I usually just kind of slide it back here, and I'm lining up the two tabs, and I'll hold that with my thumb, and then what I'll do is I'll kind of just feel for the pin, which is here, and once I do that, I'll apply some pressure with my thumb, and hopefully you heard that pop or that snap. I'll tilt the gun here, so now you can see the gap in between the weapon and the slide, and I'll pull that out, and now the little bit of pressure that'll allow me to slide it forward to release it from the body. I'm going to set this off to the side for now. And that's pretty much about it as far as taking it off. Very, very straightforward, very easy. From here, I'm pretty much just going to take out your spring. Take out this piece here. And to actually get in and get to the bore, you have to take this bushing out. You just unscrew this bushing. Take that back this way, and that just slides right out. Now, I know I said I wasn't going to talk about cleaning the gun, but I will bring up one comment. The manual recommends cleaning the gun after every time you fire it, and I've shot a couple of my 22s and a couple of my 9mm. I've gone maybe 2 or 3 times to the range without cleaning them. This gun here, I noticed after firing, gets particularly dirty. Again, I don't know if that has to do with the make and how the gun's designed, or if that is standard on all 45s due to just the size of the caliber. But hopefully you can see here everything on the stainless looks very, very clean. That's because I cleaned it recently. But it does not seem to matter whether I put 50 rounds through it or 150 rounds through it at a day of the range. It gets very, very dirty, and again, go by the manual and definitely clean this after every use. Plus, it gives you good practice, I guess. But don't hold that against the gun. It's really not that big of a deal. Again, we're not going to get into how to clean it, but once you have it all apart like this, cleaning it is a breeze as well, and it's actually pretty fun. So, with that said, again, nothing out of the ordinary here. Very, very straightforward. That was it. Once you kind of get that pin popped out, it's really just a matter of seconds before you can get the rest of the gun apart if you start practicing, and practice, of course, makes perfect. So let's go ahead and put the gun back together. And what I like to do is actually start with putting the bushing back first. And the reason I do that, well, I'm sorry, I take that back. I put the bore back in. After that, I'll put the bushing back on. My apologies. And the reason I do that, and it might be a little hard to see, but the manual touches upon this. The bushing here has kind of grooves, indentations, if you will, and you have to line up the indentation up against the gun here. So you don't want it like this. So when this piece here goes back in, I'll try and illustrate as best I can, you'll notice that it's not seated correctly. You want it, when it's finally all said and done, you want it there so it's flush up against and proper. Now it's a little difficult, obviously, because I haven't screwed this in all the way, but I found that screwing it in all the way always ends up on that last final tightening, if you will, with it in this position. So I usually just push this out a little bit, and I'll screw the bushing in as tight as it can go. Don't over tighten it or whatnot, but again, for some reason on my end, every time I finish it up, you can see it's in that position, and that is incorrect, and the manual again touches upon that. So what I do is I push that back out and I'll bring it back a notch, if you will, and now it's kind of locked in there. That bushing is locked in there properly. Let me put the light back on so you can see what I'm talking about. Hopefully that helps a little bit illustrate that. From there, I'll take the spring, put the spring back in, and there's a little, like most ACPs, there's a little notch there, so once you get it in, it'll drop and seed right in there with no issues. From now, or there on in, I should say, again, it's just a feel thing of lining up your rails. Okay. And same way as far as putting it back together with your slide stop here, you want to make sure that the two notches are lined back up. And then once you do that, you can take your pin, your slide stop, and again, it's going to be a feel thing, but you want to apply pressure. And if you recall, when I popped it out, I had a little bit of play between the frame and the pin, and now you can see it's butted up against the gun. And that's pretty much all there is to it. You're ready to go. And what I usually do is just slide it back once and engage it just to make sure safety's working there. And then slide it back and, of course, decock it. That's pretty much about it. Very, very straightforward. Again, very, very fun weapon to shoot. I hope this helps somebody out there, and appreciate your time. Thank you very much.